Peace, y'all, and welcome back to Healing While Hustling, the space where we talk about what it really looks like to do your inner work while still holding life together. Okay, so today's episode, this one is so personal. It's called Why Rest Isn't Lazy. It's a survival strategy, honey. If rest feels like a guilty pleasure, if stillness makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, this episode is for you. I got you. Growing up, I didn't really see rest modeled. So my father, he worked 2 jobs, all while taking me to school and picking me up without a car, okay? He was a public transportation man. And he was always moving, always grinding. And as a teen, if I slept in, it was not praised. It wasn't seen as a positive that I'm just getting my rest. My mama would be like, you need to get up and do something around here. You're not going to just be laying around all day. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. So I learned early that rest equals lazy. Rest equals weakness. The message wasn't always spoken, but it was clear. If you're not producing, performing, providing something, then what are you doing? Just being was never enough. And when that's all you know, stillness starts to feel really unsafe, uncomfortable, maybe even unnecessary, despite your body and mind screaming for it. And here's the thing that we don't talk about enough. Lack of rest really leads to lack of sleep, because when you don't give your body or your nervous system space to really slow down during the day, it won't magically know how to shut off at night. You know, a lot of us think we just have, bad sleep. But what we really have is overdrive that never disengages. And here's the key difference. Sleep is a biological state, right? It's unconscious. You're not thinking. It's when your body repairs your hormones, regulate, and your brain processes emotions and processes memories. Rest is a conscious pause, okay? It's what helps your nervous system shift out of survival mode. They're connected, but they're not the same. And I want to make sure you're clear on that. You can take a nap and still feel unrested. You can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up tense, tired, and numb as hell, right? Because true rest, the kind that repairs, requires safety. And most of us haven't felt safe enough to slow down in years, maybe never really our whole lives. And that's why today's episode isn't just about sleep hygiene. It's about unlearning the belief that rest is a luxury and reclaiming it as a survival tool. And when we don't do this, the cost is higher than fatigue. Let's talk about what this looks like for our bodies, for our minds, and for our people. So let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about being tired. There's literally a sleep crisis that's happening in our communities. I'm specifically talking about Black and Brown communities, and the cost is real. Renowned health advocate Dick Gregory, he once warned us that sleep deprivation was the leading cause of death in America. And he urged us all to prioritize rest for optimal health and longevity. Karen Lincoln, she's a doctor, she's a PhD holder and professor of environmental and occupational health at University of California, Irvine, I believe. She says that racism, rather than race, is a marker of risk for sleep problems. Okay, so let's start with Black women. So we have a 50% higher risk of heart failure than white women. 59% of Black adults have hypertension, the highest rate of any group. Chronic sleep deprivation increases our risk of diabetes, obesity, a weakened immune system, even mental stress, mental disorders, mental health disorders. It messes with our mental health so much, our memory, our focus, and our emotional regulation. But this is bigger than just Black women. Our Black men are suffering as well. Black men in America are facing a rest crisis of their own that we don't talk enough about at all. They're more likely to suffer from sleep disorders like insomnia and sleep apnea. And they're more likely to die from them than their white counterparts, than white men. Chronic sleep deprivation increases their risk for hypertension, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and stroke. This is very serious, y'all, because Black men have a 70% higher risk of heart failure than white men. Do you think that's by accident? It is not. It is by design, I believe. Mentally and emotionally, sleep loss exacerbates depression. It exacerbates anxiety, trauma, and emotional numbness, emotional stress, emotional issues. It affects cognitive performance to such a high degree. Oh my goodness. Our safety at work or behind the wheel. Like, it affects our ability to drive, because if you haven't gotten the proper sleep, you drive, it could be equivalent to you driving like when you're drunk. And it's not just biology, it's systemic. The shift work, the long hours, the economic stress, the living in high noise, high crime neighborhoods because you can't afford to live somewhere else, being constantly vigilant against discrimination and everyday racism. And sleep disorders in Black men are often underdiagnosed and undertreated. All of this constant overextension chips away at our health, one sleepless night at a time. And this is not just about being tired, y'all. This is about the systems that steal our rest and the lives they put at risk. I went through quite a few sources, so if you want to check what I said and dig a little deeper, which I encourage, take a screenshot of the slide that is coming up next, and you'll have a list of all the sources that I used to create this episode. So I remember a season in my life where I was working 7 days a week, y'all. Okay. I was doing full-time health coaching. I was running a mobile personal training business. My daughter wasn't in school yet, so she was at home with me, and I was still an on-demand breastfeeding mama. Whew. I was busy, okay? I was past exhausted. And there were days that I almost literally fell asleep driving to clients' homes in the evening after I finished my day job. I was tired, but I thought if I could just keep pushing through, I'd be able to build a better life for me and my daughter. That's something I was really adamant about. And then one morning, I physically couldn't get out of bed, y'all. My dad was knocking at the door to come and get my daughter, Nia, so that I could go head out to teach like a workout class or something for that day. And you know what happened when I went to go stand up to answer the door? Literally, my legs gave out. I fell to the floor. I tried to get up again, and my legs were just really wobbly. Like, I couldn't walk properly. So this wasn't from some workout that I did or anything. It was because my body said, "You're done. You are done." And honestly, that moment scared the hell out of me, right? Because nothing like that had ever happened before. I pushed myself a lot, and that's never happened. But after reflecting on that incident, I did ignore every single signal from my body. I wasn't treating my body with love and care. I was ignoring it left and right when it kept telling me to slow down, rest, take a break. However, I treated, exhaustion like a weakness, and I treated myself like a machine. Like, you got to keep going. There's no time to rest. You got to keep going. You got work to do. You have a life to build. I kept going, and my body finally said, "You're done." And after that, I started unlearning the lie that rest was a reward. It wasn't optional. It was necessary. It was survival. And one of the people who I recently found out about that you have to read her book is Trisha Hersey. She's the founder of the NAP Ministry. She is monumental in the rest is resistance space. Okay, like, she has marked her territory. And when I recently read her book, Rest is Resistance, I was like, we need to connect. So if you listening, if you're watching this video, please connect with me, okay? But what she writes about in her book is literally what I am doing with my brand, Healing While Hustling, okay? It's like we are thinking the same. She teaches that rest is a form of resistance, especially for Black people, okay? Because grind culture is a tool of capitalism and white supremacy. Okay, it for sure is. And in her book, Rest is Resistance, she writes that our bodies are not machines. Grind culture is not normal. Rest is counter narrative to a system that treats us like tools. If you've never read Rest is Resistance, I truly believe that every Black person who has ever felt like rest isn't accessible needs to read it. It's a mandatory read. Because this book doesn't just give you permission to rest, it helps you remember that rest is your birthright. Rest is your birthright. You don't have to earn it. So here's the thing though, when you're a single mom or you're holding a full-time job or living from check to check, it's not always possible to take long breaks or full vacations, right? Believe me, I know. And that's why I started embracing micro rest. That's why I started to embrace micro healing and built a whole brand and business off of that concept. We have to carve out moments to tend to ourselves, no matter how busy life becomes. You know, micro moments can fit inside of the busiest of day. And here are some micro rest practices that I've been embracing for a while. So things like taking a 2-minute breath work session in the middle of a day, just breathing, just literally focusing on the air going in and out of your nose for 2 minutes a day. Do you know how calming that can be to your nervous system? It reminds you that you're safe. It brings you back into the present moment. It reminds you that you are a human being and not a human doing. Lying flat on the floor and letting myself just be. Okay, I love to do that. It's like corpse pose, right? And it's just being one with the ground, and it just helps you feel it helps me feel very grounded and just connected, and it helps me access my peace when things just feel chaotic in my life. Simple, just laying on the floor, not doing anything. It's so powerful. Oh, and honey, a slow morning sip of tea, without a phone, without rushing. That's like heaven to me, okay? Because the day gets busy very quickly. So just being able to have that time carved out for me to just, drink my tea. It used to be coffee, y'all, okay? It used to be coffee, but now it's tea. And sometimes it's not even tea. Sometimes it's just some water with ginger and turmeric, a dash of black pepper, and some honey. There you go. And just sitting with my thoughts and just listening to the birds chirp, like welcoming in the new day. It grounds me. It grounds me, and it gives me that peace that I need. And I can tap into that peace when the day gets busy, and sometimes peace is nowhere to be found. Another one I do is saying no without over explaining, because no is a complete sentence. Okay, so if it's a no, if you don't want to go to the activity with your friend, if you don't want to go to an event with your boyfriend, if you don't want to, take your child out to the 50th activity for the week, sometimes it's just like, okay, no, that's just not what I'm doing. That's not what we're doing. And that's a full sentence. And this one that I've just started doing maybe within the last year, it has been a game changer. Yoga nidra, okay? Yoga nidra. I do it sometimes before bed. Sometimes I'll do it, in the rising when I didn't get enough sleep, okay? It is such a great way to just calm your nervous system, to come into some deep restoration. It gives your body deep rest. Please look up Yoga Nidra. I'm thinking about getting certified in it because it's just that powerful of a tool. I use it on a very consistent basis. Yoga Nidra is a great way to rest your body, even if maybe you didn't get the best sleep, or if the day is just, really hectic and you want to take a nap, but you don't have time to take a nap. Like, Yoga Nidra is so powerful. Like, Yoga Nidra, Google it, YouTube it, YouTube Yoga Nidra. And one person that I listen to all the time is Ali Boothright. I think I said that right. Oh my goodness. Like, I have been rocking with her for a minute, and Yoga Nidra literally has changed my life, because sometimes you feel like, oh, I need a nap. Oh, I need to get some sleep. Sometimes you just need to go into deep rest, because you could take a little nap or get some sleep and still wake up and you don't feel restored. Yoga Nidra actually walks you through the process, and you don't have to do anything. All you need is yourself and your bed, or you could do it on the yoga mat, and it's no movement. Okay, it's amazing. And another thing I do to get my rest is sometimes binging on a few episodes of Jenny and Georgia without shame. I love Jenny and Georgia. That is such a good show. Okay, let me know if you watch Jenny and Georgia in the comments. Like, that mama, she go hard. Okay, she go hard. That's all I gotta say. But yes, that's my guilty pleasure. And let me tell you, these small moments, they brought me back to myself, okay? They softened the burnout that I go through. They reminded me I am not a machine, that I am a human being, okay, who gets tired. And that's okay. That is normal. Human beings get tired. We do. If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be this, okay? You don't have to collapse to deserve rest. You don't have to earn peace. You are worthy, even when you are still. You can go after the dream. You can build your business. You can be a great parent, a great partner, a great leader, but not if it costs you your health, not if it costs you you. And healing doesn't always start with a breakthrough. Sometimes it starts with sitting down, with breathing, with not proving yourself for once. So here's your micro healing practice for the next 24 hours. Try to do this within the next 24 hours, okay? Take 5 minutes, just 5, and rest, okay? No phone scrolling, no multitasking, just be. And say to yourself, I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to pause. And if you want more tools for healing in the middle of your life, not after things slow down, okay, grab the Healing While Hustling Manifesto. The link is in the description. And let me tell you, this ebook, I'm going to actually share some of it. I'm going to put up a little screenshot to just walk you through really briefly what's in it, because I believe everyone needs to have this in their hands. It is a powerful tool. It gives you so much information, and this is all free because I want you all to heal. I want you to dedicate time for yourself. I want you to know and remember your worth and know that you matter and you deserve to pause. You deserve time for you. You deserve to feel peace. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel worthy. You deserve to be present. You deserve to just be. Your worth is not determined on what you do, how much you produce, how much you give. Your worth is simply based on just the fact that you're here, on who you are. I know it's a struggle because I know for me, like learning how to rest is something I'm still learning to do. I have to remind myself, okay, it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to take a break. Like, I'm not coming to you sitting on some high horse. I'm coming to you basically saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is helping me. And I'm giving you that information. I'm no better than you. I am you, okay? I have to remind myself it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to breathe. And that's why it helps to build rituals in your day. That's why it helps to build routines. Because even if you don't feel like doing it, or even if the day gets busy, when you have routines, it helps you to stay grounded. It helps you to bring in that self-care. It helps you to bring in those moments of micro healing when you have built a routine. But I digress. The episode is ending. Why am I bringing this all in at the end? I guess that's how my brain works. I start thinking about more stuff. But let me wrap this up. This is the Healing While Hustling Manifesto, and it's not just something to read. It's something to remember that you are allowed to heal right here in the middle of the chaos, the responsibilities, the survival. Inside, you'll find real life healing truths, the difference between programming and values, how to choose rest without guilt, micro healing practices you can do in under 5 minutes, and a permission slip to stop performing and start coming home to yourself. This isn't just a guide. It's a reclamation. If your soul is tired but life won't slow down, download it now. It was made for you. So remember to go grab the Healing While Hustling Manifesto. The link is in the bio. The link is in the description, And until next time, remember to be gentle with yourself. And remember that we break cycles, okay? We don't break ourselves. Until next time, it was so great having you here. And I look forward to seeing you. Come back and share this episode with someone who you think would get some benefit from it. From someone who needs to be reminded that rest does not have to be earned, that it is a birthright. Share it so that we can all be on the same page, okay? Because you can't be growing and your people around you not growing. You got to share the information, share the knowledge. Okay, until next time, Coach Amai here, the real life healing coach of Healing While Hustling. I'll see you in the next episode.